Old women on dating apps have such an inflated ego, it's unreal. The average 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old woman is able to have an active sex life with young, fit men. A woman in her 60s and 70s can make a Tinder profile, a Plenty of Fish profile, a Bumble profile, and have a plethora of men, an abundance of men willing to sleep with her at a moment's notice. You see, the average older woman, even a below average, fat, old, 70-year-old woman, has far more sexual market value than the average 25-year-old in shape man. It's gotten so bad that young men can't even get young women around their age. Young men can't even get ugly women around their age. So what happens is these guys create these online dating profiles with the full intention of meeting and, sleeping with women their own age. But what happens is that they realize that these women are pretty much unattainable, because those young women who are even remotely attractive require a guy to be the perfect physical specimen of a man. So what happens is that these guys don't meet the look standards of these women. So these guys are still horny. They still want to, have relations. So what happens is they lower their standards. So they go for ugly women. They go for fat women. And when that doesn't work, they go for an ugly, fat, old women. And you see, a lot of these old women are thinking that they are still sexually attractive. They're thinking that they've still got the, sex appeal that they had in their youth. And to be honest, they do. Because even as a woman ages, she is still able to sleep with Chad and Tyrone and everything beneath Chad and Tyrone. I've been on dating apps trying to hook up with 60, 70, 80-year-old women. I've done it. I've tried to approach women my own age, but it doesn't work because their standards are so high. So what happens is I thought to myself, why don't I approach older women? And when I mean older women, I don't mean like women in their 30s and 40s. I'm in my early 20s. I'm talking women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. But yet these women will ignore your messages, because these women get hundreds, if not thousands, of matches. Hundreds of thousands of messages from horny men that want to sleep with them. And this inflates the woman's ego. Because if you have a 60-year-old woman that's fat, she's overweight, she's thinking, hold on, all these young, fit men want to sleep with me. I must be attractive. I must be a catch. So what happens is these older women become very picky in the men they deal with. So even a fat, out of shape, grandma looking woman will have high standards. She knows she can get fit young men. Now, a lot of these women won't sleep with a younger guy because a lot of them, feel uncomfortable with sleeping with a younger guy. They're looking for a serious relationship with a man close to their age, but they still love the attention of younger men. Brothers, if you're listening to this, you should realize that your grandma, if she is still alive, if she wanted to, could have a far more active sexual life than you. Your grandma, your grandmother, has more sexual market value than you ever will. Your grandma may be 60, 70, 80. It doesn't matter, because the thirst and the horniness of men nowadays knows no bounds. Men will sleep with anything. The old saying, men will sleep with anything that moves, well, it's very, very true. It doesn't matter what you look like as an old woman. Old women can get young guys to have sex with them. They can get older guys to have sex with them. Just because a woman is old and has wrinkles and is fat and is, even in a wheelchair, you'll have guys begging to sleep with an older woman, an old woman. You had an 83-year-old woman who was sleeping with, or probably who is sleeping with, loads and loads and loads of men off of Tinder. Average looking men, decent looking men. Far, far younger than her. Men in their 30s and their 20s. Go to YouTube and type in Tinder Granny and you'll see this 83-year-old woman is able to sleep with and hook up with multiple different guys of all ages. She has a very active sex life at 83 years old. Now, granted, she doesn't look 83, she looks about 73, but it doesn't matter. She's 83 years old. She's an old woman. She is living beyond the average life expectancy of a female in the West. But yet an 83-year-old woman has more sexual market value than a 25-year-old man. Let me say that again. An old 83-year-old woman who is already living beyond the average life expectancy of a woman in the West. She is able to have a more active sex life than you or I could ever dream of having. Let that sink in. I'm out. Peace.